You know, I want to ask you guys a question. You know, as I'm getting started with my new platform here, and I have to say is, we have a new slogan. Johnny O gotta go. Johnny O gotta go. Johnny O gotta go. That's the new slogan. That's right. And I'm going to tell you why I believe Johnny O has to go. Because, we look at the police force, right? I was at a meeting yesterday, at our budget meeting. And I asked Johnny O, why are we not giving more funding to our police? He said, Darren, crime is down. Crime is down in Baltimore County. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you believe crime is down? No. Crime is not down here in Baltimore County. And I honestly have to say, I knocked on over 1,000 doors plus this past 4 months with my campaign. And one thing is for sure, when I knocked on a resident's door and I let them know what Johnny O said, they were in shock. They couldn't believe that their leader says that crime is down. And I have to tell you, that's kind of, when you look at your leader in Baltimore County executive saying crime is down, and you see why he's not supporting it, why he's not funding it. The only thing that Johnny O is doing, I believe, is you're wasting people's time, money, and people are dying. We got to change that. When I become county executive, I'm going to fully fund our police. And what exactly I'm going to do for our police force is I believe we can lower their health care costs. And Baltimore County is the only county that does not let their police officers take their vehicles home. What a shame is that? We listen to all the ads on Baltimore County, how we are doing $10,000 for new recruitment. They're raising it to $20,000. But then I asked the gentleman of the new recruitment, I said, what can we do for the officers that are in there right now? How can we take care of them? And they said nothing. We have officers that are leaving the force daily. They're going to Harford County, Harrell County, they're going into the military because they know they're not supported. Now that's a shame that we have police officers. It's the only profession that can no longer use their instincts. Because if they pull somebody over and something happens, the police officer gets asked, why did you pull them over in the first place? So I asked Johnny O again, he said, Darren, we are funding the police. He said, crime is down. Crime is down based off statistics. But one thing I would say, that you can't use numbers if your numbers are off. Yes, arrests are down. Yes, people are getting pulled over less. Because police officers are less engaged, they're afraid to be engaged. That's right. So one thing I will tell you is this, that when I become Baltimore County executive, I will give the police all the support they need, all the funding. I was in a meeting 2 weeks ago after the 100 kids got in a fight at Towson University. I was at the precinct meeting. I was blown away when I was in it, because I wanted to understand, what's going on, the crimes, constantly going up. What can I do to help, and what can I do to inform the community as I'm a community leader? And when I was in that meeting, we had the precinct captain there, we had some residents, and they talked about raising money for a rower and for a treadmill. Now, while I was there, I was very grateful that they were raising money for the treadmill and the rower, but then I said, why are you guys raising the money for the treadmill and rower? Why is the county executive not putting more funding? And I have to tell you, that's a shame when the residents have to raise money for a rower for a precinct when we have a surplus in our budget. So bottom line, the morale in our police force is down. They need to be supported, and I will support our police force. When I get to our schools, they get over $15,000 per child. And if you look at the lifetime of that student, it's $180,000 per child that the county gets. I want to ask you, do you guys feel like you're getting a return on your investment? Not at all. Not at all. $180,000. And like Mary said, we don't know what they're teaching in our schools. We have bullies constantly getting away with things. And like you hear about this equitable and social emotional learning, I want to just tell you guys this, is that, so if a child gets in a fight in school and a child punches another child and they're a minority, the teacher's going to come up to that child and ask them, I'm sorry that you were upset and had hit another child. Is it because how you were raised at home? Is it because of your upbringing? And the child gets a conversation, a timeout, and then they're back in the classroom with the child that they punched. So there's two things that are happening. The child that's constantly hitting people know that they can get away with it. And that's why you see children can continue to push the boundary. We saw 400 kids walk out of Dundalk High School. We saw 200 kids walk out of Patapsco High School. They feel that their voices are not being heard. And now when they're pushing the boundaries, we're now hearing of sexual assaults going on in our schools. We have to put an end to it. Like Mary said, I got in this fight because of education for my kids. She's the vice president of the Baltimore County Parents School Coalition. They got me involved. They were having rallies, and I could no longer sit back and see and let what's going on and not get involved, and I'm involved. I'm just a regular dad. I'm concerned, and I'm here to fight for you guys. I ask every parent in here to make sure you join Mary's group. You know, when I was at these budget meetings, and I was listening, talking about how they're spending all this money in Baltimore County, there was one thing I didn't hear was for our small businesses. As I knocked on over 1,000 doors, I talked to 75 business owners plus. One thing they're telling me is that, Darren, we can't find employees to fill our positions. They're telling me, Darren, that the payroll taxes, they're killing us. I'm barely getting by, and these payroll taxes are killing us. Can you help us when you get into office? And I will. When I get into office, I will lower the payroll taxes for employers and small businesses. But also, we have all this money in our surplus, in our budget. Let's start giving our small businesses, creating ways to train, motivate, and connect employers with employees, and that's what I plan to do when I become the Baltimore County Executive. Thank you. Now, I have to say, we have our disconnected youth. I believe we have a mental health issue going on here in Baltimore County. We have a mental health issue that nobody's talking about. I am the director of the Baltimore County Youth Coalition, and while I was the director, I would have meetings and try to just get information on how I could better serve the kids. And I met with a psychologist, and as I met with the psychologist, I asked her a question. I said, do children that grow up in crime areas that see violence, trauma, drug sales, all this, do they develop some forms of PTSD? And she said, yes. That is a shame. We know these kids have struggles, and nobody's helping them out. I gotta tell you, growing up, I had issues of my own. It was hard for me to handle the things that I saw growing up. Drugs, crime, robberies, the pain of my father not being in my life. I was in the classroom and I was constantly disruptive because I was dealing with pain from my father not being in my life. And to be honest with you, I watched my father do drugs in front of me multiple times when I was a young kid. While I was in school, yes, I would act out. My dad was never in my life, but you know what? I needed to be put in an alternative program. I needed to know how to conduct myself in a school setting and what was expected of me in school. But you know what's going on right now? We have kids in school that need that. They need to be separated from the classroom. Some kids just need to understand how to be in a class setting. They need to learn how to communicate. They need to understand boundaries. So I believe that we need to support more after-school programs and positive resources for our students, and the county executive can do it right now. I've been talking to members of the county council, I've been talking to senators, and we're going to connect after-school programs to provide positive resources for our youth. You know, we really have to look at the school year. I appreciate Senator Salem. He's the first elected official that I heard, as well as Rick, call out the teachers' unions. All right? It's about time. I'm trying to figure out as a dad, like, who's held accountable? Is it the Board of Education? Is it the teachers' unions that spend all this money? And you know what? It is the teachers' unions and the Board of Education. They get, like Mary said, 51% of our tax dollars. We can no longer allow them to control this money with negative results. As your county executive, I will hold them accountable. I gotta tell you guys, we're 3 months away from a primary. I need everyone in this room who loves freedom, supports our children, and respects our law enforcement officers, and believe that Baltimore County's best days are still to come. Tonight, I want to invite you to join my team, our team. This is our time to turn Baltimore County red. We are going out into the county this Saturday, and we need folks to knock on doors, to sign, waive, and to talk to small business owners. I need you guys to help me out. You can go on my website. You can sign up to volunteer. Meet us on the battlefield this Saturday to fight for change. And one thing's for sure, like I said, Johnny O has to go, and he will with your help. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.